So were you aware that the CMAL board wanted to stop the procurement process?
Not at that point, no. And you're obviously moving on now to, well, maybe you can tell me what you're referring to there.
Were you aware of at any point that they wanted to stop the process?
At that stage, no. And obviously you are talking then about what came to the Transport Minister in the context of the 8th of October decision about final contract award. That's distinct from preferred bidder. And as I've said, I wasn't aware of that at that time. I'm obviously now very aware of that and have reviewed, as I said in response to the convener's questions earlier on, have fully reviewed all of the paperwork that was before Derek Mackay at that point.
So, Morag McNeill from CMAL said that they became aware that FMEL could not provide a guarantee on the 21st of August 2015 and the preferred option was to go back to the tendering process. On the 25th of August at the CMAL board meeting, Transport Scotland was clear that the announcement was going ahead. When asked if CMAL was happy to go forward, she said, "Our preference was to re-tender. We were authorised by our shareholder to proceed. That was an instruction to proceed." Was there an interest in this, from the Scottish Government to award the contract to FMEL? Was it a kind of jobs for the boys? There's obviously been talk of the relationship between the Scottish Government and Jim McCall. So was there an interest from the Scottish Government to award the contract?
Well, was there an interest from... I mean, you've used a rather pejorative term that, just for the avoidance of doubt and for the record, I completely and utterly refute. Is there an interest on the part of any government? And I would imagine what I'm about to say, and I'm talking in general terms here, I'll come on to the specific in a second. I would imagine what I'm about to say is shared by every politician around this table. Is it the case that ministers, politicians generally, often were, challenged on these points by opposition politicians, that assuming it's all done by the book, you're quite happy to see contracts go to Scottish companies and therefore support Scottish jobs? I'm pretty sure every politician around this table would say, yeah, of course, that is ideally what we want to see, providing it is all done appropriately. So if that's what you mean by interest, well, from your later comments, it's obviously not what you mean by interest. If you are saying, was there anything untoward in this procurement process in order to somehow inappropriately steer this contract towards FMEL? Absolutely, categorically not. In fact, you don't just have to take my word for that. Kevin Hobbs, the now Chief Executive of CMAL, I don't think it was in evidence to your committee, I think it was in evidence to the previous REC committee inquiry himself, and I think I'm using the term used in that committee's report, categorically denied that there had been any pressure put on CMAL by the Scottish Government around the award of this contract. The contract was awarded purely on the assessment CMAL did of the tender, the bid that FMEL had submitted. So absolutely, categorically no is the answer to your question in the way I think your question is intended.